Well, by this admittedly slightly provocative title, I mean to emphasize that there is a kind of disconnect between the idea that non-INFJs online, particularly online, have of INFJs and being INFJ and the reality of INFJ life, okay? So INFJ has always been a rather popular type online, bolstered mainly by two things. The fact that INFJs are known to be rare, that it's one of the rarest types. Still, most people think it is the rarest type. There's a debate whether it is INFJ, ENFJ, or ENTJ, possibly INTJ in the mix there. It makes a lot of sense that that the rarest type should be a high NI user, because like the alienation and sense of severance between the NI world and external reality is so sort of ill-adapted to reality that you'd have to be a rare type, I think, to possess that particular function. Now, of course, ENTJs particularly can be extremely well adapted to reality, so that's another conundrum that we could explore at a later stage. But in any case, so INFJs can be quite popular because of this, and also because this is among the slightly more educated or learned among the community. The inventor of personality types in most ways, Carl Jung, is usually taken to be an INFJ. So there is a mystique, that surrounds the INFJ, and a lot of people want to be INFJ or wish they were because they think it's cool. There's a certain sense in which it's cool, and it's not much more profound than that, I think, ultimately. Because if it were more profound, you would not want to be something else than what you are, okay? Now, when I say there's a disconnect, I mean by this that in two ways INFJs are not cool. It's not cool to be an INFJ because life as an INFJ is very difficult. INFJs are not that well adapted to external reality. Of the four high NI types, INFJ, ENFJ, ENTJ, and INTJ, I'd be ready to bet that INFJs have, like compared to these other types, the lowest average income, that they are possibly more prone to depression, and that they're more prone to being solipsistic and feeling like detached from reality and like they're not connecting. And I've made lots of videos that you can explore where I explain why it's very difficult to be an INFJ in the modern world. You can also explore more detail on this in my book, INFJ Life in the Modern World. It's called The Infinite Soul. INFJ Life in the Modern World is the subtitle. Of course, this book explores how you can be a happy INFJ in the world today. Mostly through the recovery of meaning, purpose, and value. Okay, so if you have got the book, drop a review, please. Helps with the referencing. Otherwise, there's the link below to get it. Now, the other thing about INFJs not being cool is that, in fact, if you're an INFJ, whether you know it or not, in the external world, people don't really see you as cool. Usually INFJs don't dress in a way that's cool. They tend to be kind of unremarkable in their dress, or conservative, functional, or sometimes highly idiosyncratic, especially if they're Enneagram 4. But so idiosyncratic in a way that they're like ignoring fashion trends. And of course, being cool usually implicitly or explicitly revolves around being able to link up to these fashion trends. So they're not seen as cool, and their personality is kind of pleasant and friendly, but also a little bit strange, sometimes a little bit just offbeat, and they're somewhere else. And a lot of people who expect normalcy and predictability in human relationships will always feel like they're being analyzed and stared at. Their soul will be stared at or stared through in the presence of an INFJ who won't be doing this on purpose. They usually will be seen as pleasant, as agreeable. They're not all agreeable, but most are agreeable, but a little bit quirky, a little bit strange at the same time. And of course, introverted. So they're not perceived as cool, and they don't think their existence is cool. So really, like, the ultimate conclusion that you must draw from this is that if people online were more aware of the intimate experience of being an actual INFJ in actual external reality, because we cannot avoid it. Perhaps we think we're cool in our NI world, but outside of that, the challenges begin to appear, and they're very, very present. They're hard to surmount, okay? I think that a lot of people would suddenly realize that it's not something that they actually desire that much. It's more of an online phenomenon, an online trend, rather than something that's steeped in external reality. And this is what I meant by INFJs are not cool, okay? Don't forget, I have written another book on INFJs called the Ecstatic Soul. Of course, it's the prequel to the Infinite Soul, and it's an in-depth, very in-depth look at the INFJ mind, INFJ consciousness, and its existential manifestations. I explore these concepts in more detail in that book, so consider getting it too. And don't forget, the lifeblood of my channel is my Patreon page, so if you're willing to join my Patreon, make a modest donation of $3.50 a month, €3 a month, you can really support me in a massive way, added to the support of others that I thank very much. You can interact with me there. You can we do some young readings. I produce some bonus content for you, and you can suggest, you know, topics for my videos, because I'm always looking for suggestions too. Consider it, and I'll talk to you next time, guys. Bye bye.